Going to be one of my spooky scary ghost stories. It's probably one of the reasons why I'm obsessed with horror, probably another reason why I'm obsessed with paranormal instances of all kinds, but this is one of them, just one. So when I was 16, I started working as a barista for my local coffee shop in the city that I lived in and was raised in. And when I started working there, one of the people that was training me gave me all of the history on the building. The building was comprised of 3 different businesses at the time that I was working there. However, before that, it was only one particular business, and that was the mortuary. So it was separated, the building that I worked in. There was one building here, and then there was one building on the end. And there's been other businesses that have taken different portions of the building, but those 2 main portions of the building were the mortuary, and then there was also services held in the opposite building next to it. So it was connected by this door. Well, there's like a hookah lounge right next to it that the owner of the business I worked for had previously opened with her son, and not a lot of people realized that that door was actually connecting the 2 buildings. Well, I, of course, ate that shit up. I loved hearing that. I was so excited. They brought me to the back, and in the back room where we would like slice all of the meats and stuff, because we did like sandwiches and stuff, there was this one particular area that was slanted, and it was the particular area where they would drain the bodies. And in that area, we would always be slicing meats, and occasionally you would hear noises or creaks or just really creepy vibes all the time, like someone was watching you, and there was no cameras in the building, so you knew if someone was there, and the physical feeling of someone being there, you knew. So a lot of times we would actually play music just to kind of get away from that. But there was one particular time where a friend of mine I had recommended for her to get hired, and we were actually closing shop that night, and we closed around, I believe, 9 p.m. at the time. I don't think that they stay open that late anymore. We closed at 9 p.m. and I was mopping. She was over washing dishes, and the way that the business is when you first walk in, it's pretty much an open floor plan. There's a bar over here. To the back of the bar is the back of the business where you go all the way through, and it's employees only. And then to the left, it goes to a back room, and there is like a small staircase with a small top head manager area, and below that is the bathrooms. So my friend was on this side in the back area washing dishes, and I was on the other side of her where the staircase was, mopping below in the bathrooms. And one bathroom had Marilyn Monroe and the other bathroom had James Dean on it, and that's how we differentiated men and women. It was a very eclectic coffee shop, okay? So I'm mopping. It's like an old school mop where you dip it in and you drain it and you wring it out and then you mop, and we had different types of floors. There was real hardwood floors from when it originated, and then there was like these checkerboard floors in the bathrooms. And so I was mopping, and I kid you not, as soon as I finished in the James Dean bathroom, I went to go close the door, and the door pulled open, and little footprints started to appear on the checkered floor in front of me. I dropped the mop and screamed. I ran over to my friend. We'll name her H for now. I ran over to her and I told her what I had just seen. And I was like, I am not even kidding you. I don't even want to be here right now. Like, this is horrifying to me. She's like, okay, calm down. Mind you, this person is also very scared easily. So she goes over and she sees the footprints in the wet water because they have not dried yet. And she just looks at me like, that's too small to be your foot. Like, you're not playing a joke on me. This is not April Fool's. This is not hee hee ha ha. This is real. So the following day, we go to my manager and we're like, hey, so this happened last night. She goes, oh yeah, don't worry about it. Like, we all have had experiences here. This was the mortuary, as you know. There's a lot of presences here. There's a lot of spirits here. And it's probably going to continue happening. And I was like, okay, so give me an example of something that you've experienced, because seeing physical footprints in front of my eyes occurring in wetness on the floor was not on my fucking bingo card. Okay, like, what do you mean? Her name was Amber, and she said that there were times that she would be standing at the espresso machine making espresso, and it would be early in the morning, and she would hear someone call her name, and that voice typically sounded like the owner, who was usually there, and she would go up to where the office manager area was, and the owner wouldn't be there, and she would text her and be like, hey, were you just inside? Like, do you need my help? Are you outside in the back? Do you need help unloading? Like, what's going on? And the owner was like, no, I'm at home. I'm at home. So Amber was like, it happens all the time. You just got to brush it off your shoulders and keep working. This was probably like, I don't know, I want to say about 8 months into me working there. So I continued to work there, and there were nights where I had to close by myself. There were nights where I refused to close because of the things that would happen. But that was one of my first experiences with something paranormal to like my blind eye, and it was exceptionally shocking for me. I was out of my mind trying to comprehend what had just happened. That's one of my ghost stories. I will never forget that day. I will never forget my friend H and her expression when she saw the footprints. I will never, ever forget the way that I screamed. I've never screamed like that again in my life. And like the fear that it put into me, just seeing something that isn't actually there. So that's one of my stories, and I have a few others that I will be sharing, but that was my story about when I was 16. I do have some more that are not necessarily my stories, but I will be sharing as well because I have always thought about them and have always thought about these stories and been like, I want to go investigate. But I hope you guys liked it, and I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next story. Bye.